Good morning. I'm excited to be here today with Congressman Hal Rogers to announce a renewed effort to help Kentucky's Appalachian region reach its potential. You know, the Congressman's politics and my politics are different in many ways, but we share a fundamental goal, a higher quality of life for our people. So we understand the need to come together in a bipartisan effort for this important initiative. We've worked closely together over the last few years on a number of things. Most recently, toughening Kentucky's response to the destructive misuse of prescription drugs. And we hope to mirror that success in this effort. As you can see, we're also joined by Kentucky House Speaker Greg Stumbo, Senate President Robert Stivers, and other legislators, and many influential leaders standing behind us. Since I became governor 6 years ago, we've been focusing our efforts on addressing shared fundamental challenges holding back the Commonwealth of Kentucky, creating jobs, making health care accessible and affordable to our citizens, improving the rigor and effectiveness of our education system, top to bottom, modernizing our economy, and eliminating the scourge of prescription drug abuse. Our goal has been not only to help Kentucky families and businesses survive the global recession, but also to strengthen their long-term capacity. And we have made a lot of progress. But we've also realized that some areas need additional focus given their unique histories and demographics. Eastern and southeastern Kentucky together boast a unique heritage and special strengths. But they also have their own set of challenges. Everyone in this room knows how the economic pressures of the last few years have hurt the growth and development of Appalachia and intensified hardship for families here. And everybody in this room realizes that the world is changing. The economic marketplace is shifting. Technology is evolving. The skills and knowledge required by graduates is expanding. Competition for businesses has gone global. What companies are demanding out of their workforce has intensified. How we produce and consume energy is shifting, and the availability of government funding has been sharply curtailed. For eastern and southeastern Kentucky to catch up and move ahead, we need new strategies. What are those strategies? Well, that's what we want to find out. On Monday, December the 9th, we're going to be holding a summit at the Eastern Kentucky Exposition Center in Pikeville. We're calling together hundreds of the region's top leaders in a multitude of sectors: business, education, government, philanthropy, and many others, in an aggressive effort called SOAR, Shaping Our Appalachian Region. We have a planning team, many of whom are standing right behind us, made up of about 36 regional leaders, primarily from the private sector. Today, they began meeting to build the framework both for the summit and for the critical follow-through. To facilitate this summit, we're very fortunate to have some partners. The Appalachian Regional Commission and the United States Department of Agriculture Rural Development are joining with us and working with us to facilitate discussion at the summit. We've also brought on board a professional consultant, the Rural Policy Research Institute, a national policy institute dedicated to fostering public dialogue and solutions. The institute, represented here today by its president and CEO, Chuck Fluharty, has conducted similar regional efforts all across the United States and in foreign countries. Now, let me emphasize that this is the beginning of a process. It's not a one-time event designed to produce a magic formula. Because, folks, there are no magic formulas. not for long-standing challenges like this. Government does not have all the answers, but I believe the people of this region and the leaders of this region do have the answers. What we're trying to do is to bring together the people who live here, who work here, who've dedicated their lives to improving conditions here, and work with them to come up with strategies for moving forward. Now, I know this has been done before in various forms, in various fashions. For more than 100 years, Kentucky's Appalachian communities have been dissected, probed, and analyzed by scores of people for purposes ranging from social research to artistic exploration. Scholars and poets, musicians and mine owners, governors and presidents have sought to uncover the mystery of our region, to explain what makes its people so special, to tap its resources, and to determine what has held it back. Some of this evaluation has been positive. Some has been disparaging. Strategic recommendations, blueprints, 10-point plans. There have been dozens of them. And I don't disparage them. They've been good work. And while progress has been made, much more needs to be done. The recent loss of some 6,000 jobs brings into sharp focus the need to take another look at what this region needs. We want to build off the good work that has been done and is being done by many groups and people to coalesce around a unified vision and strong bipartisan collaboration. What will come of this? To be honest with you, we're not sure. We don't know exactly. That's going to depend in great part on the engagement of community leaders throughout Appalachia. But I do know two things with absolute certainty. Number one, to be successful, the people of Appalachia must step up and take ownership and responsibility for their own future. For us to be successful, the people here are going to have to develop that roadmap for success. And number two, if we sit back and do nothing, we know that we don't have any chance to succeed. So we're ready to begin. As I said, the Congressman and I are joined in this effort. We're joined also by the Speaker of the House, Greg Stumbo, by the President of the Senate, Robert Stivers, and I'm going to call upon Congressman next to speak, but before we do, we developed a logo that hopefully will focus our efforts for the future here in Appalachia. And I'm going to ask the Congressman and Greg and Robert to come over with us. Now please welcome my partner in this effort and a man who has proven time and time again not only his integrity but his dedication to the public interest and to the future of Eastern Kentucky, and that's Congressman Al Rogers. Congressman.
Governor, thank you very much for the introduction. More importantly, thank you for being here and being a mover and shaker on doing something for the betterment of Eastern Kentucky. The governor and I talked about a major joint effort to rejuvenate the economy of Eastern Kentucky, but we are, of course, beset by the declining jobs in the coal industry. Our region needs to think outside the box on how to restore job opportunities and economic growth towards a better way of life for our people. We decided to bring together East Kentuckians to talk about ways and means toward that goal and to lay plans on how to get there. Thus, this procedure that we are in. So let it be marked down today as the day Southern and Eastern Kentuckians prepare to soar above our challenges. Soar beyond the naysayers. Soar into a new era of technology, investment, tourism, and job growth. With the difficulties in the coal industry these days, a lot of people are despairing. We hear it every day. People are nervous. They're scared about the future of themselves and our region. A lot of people are saying there's no hope for Appalachia. They're saying the region's best days are over. Well, I say hogwash. Just plain hogwash. People of East Kentucky are overcomers. That's what we've always done. Churchill once said, the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity. The optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty. Well, I'm an optimist. Governor Beshear is an optimist. The people you see standing with me are optimists. We believe there are opportunities here. We will soar above our problems. We will not only survive, but we will thrive again. We've done it time and again. Look at our history. We've been the people who banded together in tough times, shared with each other, cared for each other, looked on the horizon for a better way. We've risen above our difficulties. We've rallied. We've fought the good fight. When our nation needed energy to power the factories that built this nation, they turned to our region and says, can you do this? And we said, you betcha. We overcame, and we pulled that coal to the surface that powered the growth of this nation. When the bugle was sounded to go to war, time and again, to protect our flag and our country, it was our men and women who drove themselves to the station to enlist and went to that battlefield. We overcame difficulties to get there. When our region was littered with trash and debris, and our rivers and streams polluted, we pulled together. We pulled that garbage from our creeks. We dug up the straight pipes. We planted trees. And we restored a lot of our region's natural beauty. We overcame. When a wave of prescription drug overdoses started flooding Pikeville Hospital and Manchester Memorial and Highlands, Appalachian Regional Health, and all the other hospitals in our region, we didn't just shrug our soldiers or cede control over to the pill doctors. We overcame. We united. Now coal, our region's economic, historic lifeblood, faces new regulatory and economic challenges like never before. Nearly everyone in this room knows coal miners who've been given a pink slip in the last 18 months. And those families are hurting. That doesn't count. Corner stores and mechanics that rely on the coal industry, they're also downsizing or cutting hours. The battle for our neighbors is putting food on the table and heating the house this winter. But even in that dark hour, we are rallying together to retool and redouble our efforts. Today, I think we celebrate the beginning of a new chapter of progress in southern and eastern Kentucky. Yep, we face big challenges, but Governor Beshear and I have commissioned this group you see with us to be the planners of a summit that will address the fight that we need need to make to meet the challenges before us. You know, the difference between try and triumph is a little umph. And that's what the planning committee is designed to do, to add the umph, to bring their ingenuity, their talents, their resources to develop a plan to move our nation forward. I agree with the governor entirely when he says that the solution to our problem must come from within. You and I, we, Eastern Kentuckians, hold our future in our hands. We can make of it what we want. But it's got to come from here. It cannot come from Washington or Frankfurt or your county seat. It's got to come from us, the people, we the people. Consequently, the summit, the planners that are with us, are focused on trying to draw from Eastern Kentuckians ideas and solutions that we can all invest ourselves in. Only then, when all of us are invested, can we move the matter forward. This group behind me is committed to this cause, but in December, we need people from all across southern and eastern Kentucky to attend the SOAR Summit and help shape our Appalachian region. We need educators, we need homemakers, we need business owners, tourism workers, coal miners, doctors, lawyers, entrepreneurs, public servants, administrators, advisors, nonprofit organizers, folks from all ways of life to help design the path forward. We must not forget, we are overcomers, and we can do this, and we will do this. But to soar again, I think we've got to commit ourselves to a technology and innovation future for Appalachia. In countless instances, we've taken advantage of technology to grow jobs and recruit tech-savvy businesses to our region. Rest assured, I will continue in my fight, as all of us will, day in and day out, for the coal industry and the jobs that it brings to our region. In fact, tomorrow, I'll be attending a coal rally on the steps of the Capitol in Washington. But our best resources are a different energy source. It's our people. We've got a high quality, highly motivated work ethic in the people in our region. It's unmatched anywhere in all of America. I hear it every day from the employers, from small operations, large operations throughout our district, our region, who tell me that the work ethic of the people of East Kentucky is unsurpassed anywhere that they have other plants. So our people are capable and they're motivated because they want to stay home and work at that job. Business owners across the country have told me their most productive locations are right here in Eastern Kentucky. In the past, you needed modern highways, you needed railroads, barges, a lot of flat land to bring a factory to your region, to allow the raw material to be brought to your factory and to ship out your product. But since our mountains, our poor highways, and lack of barges on navigable streams were great handicaps in the past for us, we had to move to a large city to find work. US 23 and I-75 were the routes out. We educated our young, then we exported them up those highways to places like Ypsilanti. But the world has changed. Now, your raw material comes to you by fiber cable or satellite. You process the information and ship it out the same way. You don't need that barge or a highway or a truck. The new interstate highway is the big internet cable. It doesn't matter where your processing plants located. All you need is a connection to that new interstate highway and highly motivated workers. You're going to have both. All of a sudden, for the first time in our history, we are in the middle of the world's economy. A chance to compete on the world stage. Can you do it? Can you overcome difficulties? Can we streamline our educational processes to work on doing that? We've got to go after our future. Lincoln once said, "Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left behind by those who hustle." Now, I'm not calling you a bunch of hustlers, but I think you are. And we're going to hustle. This planning committee understands the needs of our region and the implications of their work, and I know they're committed to a first-class working, forward-leading workforce. So on December the 9th, at the Expo Center in Pikeville, the governor and I need to be joined by hundreds of leaders who are ready to shape our Appalachian region. We're blessed with the support of the head legislators, Senator Stivers, President Stivers, Speaker Stumbo, and others from the legislature, as well as leaders from throughout our region. Here's our chance. You've got the political, nonpartisan support, most of it from our region. Well, you know, the governor's from this side of the Winchester Wall. We're going to call him in Eastern Kentucky. Governor, thank you for this effort. I know that we will be successful. When I say we, I'm talking about the people of East Kentucky. And we're going to stand back, try to collect ideas, and let you go to work. Thank you.
Next, let me call on Speaker Stumbo.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, Congressman, and thank all of these folks who have given up their time to come here today. I'll be brief. It's remarkable to me, in my 36 years, in public service, I believe this is the first time I've ever seen this much enthusiasm and determination come together to solve the problems of Appalachia. Judge Noble, we've cried about it for a long time, and many of our cries have fallen on deaf ears. But I believe the time is right. And I believe that with the support that this group can offer, that we can go to Frankfurt, that we can go to Washington, that we can go to the business communities, and we can have a strategic plan to move us forward. You're going to hear a lot about vision, but as my friend Congressman Rogers once told me, a vision without funding is an hallucination. And I think it's time that the state of Kentucky rethink its distribution of the severance tax formula. It's time that we rethink the commitment that we've made to educational progress here in the mountains. We don't have a 4-lane interstate highway. We probably won't get one in our lifetimes, unfortunately, even though the congressman has tried his best. We don't have a public 4-year university, and we probably won't get one perhaps in our lifetimes. But we do have educational opportunities. As witnessed by what you see around you here today, the University of the Mountains concept, a university without walls, is something of a new idea. It's the university of the future, perhaps. But it's a way to extend educational opportunities to our children. Education is the great equalizer. And as we move forward, it's fine to talk about all the wonderful things that we can do with money for infrastructure. And I'm for that. Nobody likes to build a road or a building better than I do. But we can't, I don't think, take our eye off the target. And the target has to be a better trained, better educated workforce here in the mountains. We know in today's world that educational opportunities are key to convenience and the ability to stay in school. A convenient location to go to school, to stay in school. 4-year degrees are almost a thing of the past. 6- and 8-year commitments to a baccalaureate degree are what we see more and more of. I'm convinced that we can provide those opportunities here. I want to thank Governor Beshear. He took the first step in authorizing the Cole County Scholarship Fund as a pilot project. To date, over 200 of our children are taking third and fourth year upper level classes right here in Eastern Kentucky at both UPike, Moorhead, and our community college systems that are being offered, which will help them get that 4-year degree. So I look forward to this challenge. I thank all of you, and God bless you.
President Stiver.
Thank you, Governor and Congressman Rogers. Speaker, also want to thank my other members, Senator Brandon Smith and Representative Fitz-Steele. I appreciate this opportunity to talk about a few things. I want to digress to something that happened in my house about 4 or 5 months ago to emphasize the change in the times that we are here. My son had lost his remote control to the TV that gets 248 stations. He was somewhat perplexed, and he wanted me to help him. I told him, you know, when I was growing up, the remote control in my house was my dad looking at me and saying, go over and turn the station. We got all of 3 stations at that time, WBIR and WATE out of Knoxville. And I think we got Asheville, North Carolina, which was the ABC station. Now, I also told him the way we watched TV was we had the needle nose pliers, because if I couldn't turn it over because the handle broke, I had to put those needle nose pliers in there for about a week until we got the part back in. And the other thing we needed, I told him, I said, we needed a big tool, and it was a pipe wrench. He said, Dad, why'd you need a pipe wrench to watch TV? I said, because if the wind blew, the antenna moved, and somebody had to go out there and put that pipe wrench on the antenna to move it around, and somebody yelling at you saying, hey, you moved it too far, back it up. That's the way we got information some 40 years ago. But as the Congressman said, this is a different time, this is a different place. We see all the information that happens and occurs in the Middle East now, instantaneously. So today, as we want to shape our Appalachian region, we have to understand that this is a much smaller world because of technology. And as the speaker said, it depends on changing the way we think about education. And as you see these individuals behind me, it makes a difference on how we think about how we're going to create jobs in this region. And I can tell you this group cannot sit here and tell you that we will try and we will succeed. But here what you can guarantee, that if we do not try, we will be doomed to failure in Eastern Kentucky. So we are here as Republicans and Democrats, but most importantly as Kentuckians and Eastern Kentuckians, to pledge our support to change the realm and the ideas in which we work under in this region of the state we call home. Thank you, Governor, for your leadership. Thank you, Congressman, for yours, and I appreciate the opportunity to be with you all.
We have, as I mentioned, the institute that will be working with us to help us plan for the summit and to go through the summit and after the summit. And we have Chuck Flaherty, who is the CEO of the institute. Chuck, would you come up and say a few words?
It's a tremendous honor to stand here with dedicated public servants such as these, and more specifically with the leadership of a region. There's a lot of discussion this day in our political economy about division. What you have here are a set of leaders coming together to say there's something more important than party. And those of us that say Appalachia with the pronoun in front of it our Appalachia, I believe, is poised for a very significant activity. RUPRI is honored to work around the nation and world with regions in rural areas seeking to create their future, not respond to it. I can honestly say I have never begun to work with a region in deeper need of very serious assessment of its future. And I can also say, given our first meeting, I've never started work with a region that I believe has greater commitment to its purpose, greater political leadership, and greater business, education, and nonprofit commitment than we have here. It's a tremendous honor. I'll make two last points. It is a process that will take time, but the reality is innovation is the key. Rethinking who we are, rethinking how our business and cluster and value chains are developed, rethinking how we innovate, linked investment, and future design across all the sectors that are represented here. Innovation, innovation, regional future. Congressman, Governor, it's a tremendous honor to be undertaking this journey with you. Thank you very much.
And to close us out, when you look at this planning committee, you don't see a lot of public officials. You see the private sector. Because the private sector is an essential part of this effort to change the future of Appalachia. And I'd like to ask Jim Booth from Martin County to come up and say a few words as part of the visiting of the planning committee. Jim.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Congressman Rogers, for being here. This is really an exciting day for all of us. We have seen some recent trying times with the coal industry being hit as hard as it has. But I've always said that the way that the people in Eastern Kentucky have managed to survive obstacles is we've done it with diversity. My coal company started in 1975, small little group that started to grow. We started hitting the spikes and the down swings. If I hadn't diversified, my business would have never succeeded. So that's what I'm proposing. We need to diversify the economy strongly in Eastern Kentucky. And with the group that we got here, it can be done. I feel very positive that it can be done. And we've got leaders here. The education leaders are right here behind me, and I work with all of them, and I do know for a fact that they can get the job done. They'll help us. We've got to educate our future. And so the economic development leaders that are here have proven that they can be very successful. The medical industry is represented. So we are a very strong group here, but a stronger group out there. We've all got to work together. We will, and I have confidence that we will succeed. Thank you.
That concludes our press conference. We'll take a few questions, but I do have to get the Congressman on an airplane here very shortly to get back to Washington. So does anybody have a question or two before we close? All right, thank you all very much.